Hi everyone, it's Marcie Besecker and I am here live to do a video for you that I'm going to be teaching at retreat. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I'm going to share with you today the Forever and Always stamp set with a gilded leafing. Hello. So I am getting ready to go to a retreat and I was asked to teach a class. And so what I'm going to do is show you exactly what I am handing out and how to create this kit. So if you went to retreat and weren't able to make your kit there for whatever reason, I'm going to have this video to show you how to do it. And if you didn't go to retreat but you see this card and you're interested in creating it, I am going to show you, and I will be posting this while I'm at retreat. And so I will also have a scheduled post on this card linking to my blog, so be looking for that too. It will be on a schedule after the video airs. Look, I know my bangs are long because we can't cut our hair and I'm afraid to cut my own, so we're going to live with it a little longer. All right, so let's get busy. So this is what the kit is going to look like. So I'm going to tell you what I did and what's in here. So I have 18 inches of our fine art ribbon, our champagne rhinestones. I have one of the largest ones and 4 of the smallest ones. I have the card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have my insert piece, which is 4 by 5 1/4, which is the very vanilla. I have another very vanilla on the outside. And again, it is also, this one is 4 1/8 by 5 3/4. So I just wanted a peek of the crumb cake around the outside, because our main focus is going to be here, which is the Blushing Bride. And this is 4 by 5 1/4, which should layer right up on top of that. I also, I'm using the Forever and Always stamp set. And the only image I'm going to be using in here will be these 2 flowers and this sentiment right here. But as far as the dies go, with time and supplies, I'm not sure who's going to be able to bring what to the retreat, as I'm flying in. So I'll definitely be bringing my little mini cut and emboss, but I don't know about others. So I decided to go ahead and cut out the background image of the Always. I adhered the double-sided tape on the top, but not on the back, and I did it on the thick Whisper White cardstock, which is now the basic white cardstock. The reason I did it ahead of time, I didn't want everybody to have to bring this, but I wanted to show a couple different techniques on using the gilded leafing, which I have here. So we are going to be using this. We are going to be using the heat and stick powder, but like I said, also the double-sided adhesive sheets, which I've already adhered to our word. So let me get my light on here, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's do our background first. So we're going to take out our 2 flower images. I'm going to stamp them in crumb cake. So I'm going to use a D block for that flower and a C for this one. We're going to just bring this one in, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in a scrap piece of paper. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use our crumb cake. And we are going to do the larger images in crumb cake. I forgot to tell you we are going to be using the Versamark also, which I told you we're going to use the heat and stick, so you should know. We're going to take the larger one and just kind of randomly put 3 images on here. Okay, and I'm actually going to do another, just a leaf in the corner. Okay, so that's what I want to do. And that was with our crumb cake. Now we're going to take the Versamark and the smaller flower. And we're going to okay. I'm going to look at this. There's one image, and I'm just going to do a little, like a leaf right there. All right, so now we're going to bring in, I stamped on that side, so I want to turn this over. We're going to bring in our heat and stick powder. Now, be aware that I understand that these images are going to be also a little wet. They do dry faster, but we're just going to go ahead and pour this all over, knowing that it's going to also adhere a little bit to our other flower images, but not a lot, mostly where it was really wet, but it will stick nicely to our embossed image. All right, so we're just going to kind of tap that off because we want our little flowers definitely to be covered, and then it's covering a little of our larger flowers, and that's okay. I want to put this away so it doesn't fly all over. So if you guys watched my video, I'm doing this one right after I did the welcoming window video, and we were waiting for UPS to show up. Well, he showed up, but as my notification, it does say that it's coming later, and my other orders came ahead, so I'm still waiting for the signature one that I need to do. All right, now we're going to heat this. Remember your heat and stick, it does melt very quickly. You can see it just, as soon as this warms up, you can see, watch how fast that is. Okay, so you don't want to overheat it. You want it to stay sticky. I'm doing the whole card, even the crumb cake images. Alright, so I'm good with that. Everything looks like it's done. So we are going to get into our box here. Remember, carefully open it because you're going to have your gold all over, and if you see it, it's like all up here too. We're going to put our image in. I like to just take a pinch of paper of the foil. It's very staticky, so I like to lay it down on the images. I think you get a better, crisp, smooth image if you lay your larger pieces down, especially where your Versamark is, because where the heat and stick was at, this part right here is going to pick up extra, and I'm fine with that. I like the gold. It's kind of a mixed media-ish look. I'm just realizing I'm doing this video, and it was after I did another one, and I didn't check the volume, and I'm like, uh-oh, is my sound on? But it looks like it is. So I should be okay. So here's a nice big piece. So I know there's a piece down here. And I'm going to go ahead and stick it in the middle. See how it's sticking? Okay. I'm going to pick this one up, move it over here. Let it stick over there. Just kind of move it around. Wherever there is some heat and emboss or heat and stick powder, it is going to adhere to, okay? So just kind of lay it around. Remember that this crumb cake was still a little wet, so it's going to pick up that heat and stick paper. Alright, but there's going to be color underneath it, whereas your gold is going to stick to just the heat emboss, not the crumb cake. I mean, it will also stick there, but not as much. Alright, now I'm going to show you something else that if you do nails and you want gold leafy, this is really what they use. So if you put it on your nail, okay, and then you wipe it off, you can get it to stay on. So if you don't want to wipe it off, okay, so see how smooth it is now? So you could put your clear coat over your polish. It's the same kind of thing. So look how that is. The more you rub it, the more little pieces will come off, and it's going to look cracked. I don't know if you can see it very well. You know what? I wonder if I have my, let me check my focus real quick and make sure it's not on auto focus, because I did start another video. Nope. Okay, so we're good. All right, but here is, so then you can just, it comes right off. But if you put a clear coat over, you're going to have that beautiful gold on your nails. So I should have given you that tip before Christmas, but, or New Year's, but anyway. All right, so now I'm good with how much I have on there. It doesn't need to be solid on everything. I just kind of want to have it on my card. Alright, so I don't know what happened, why it's not on there. Oops, see how it poofed? Be careful of that. Okay, so let me rub that on. I don't think I put enough on there. Okay. Uh-oh, I forgot to turn my sound off my computer. Technology, this is what you get, right? Okay, so now just take your image. I kind of like to move mine up here just so I can kind of see what's going on. And take it off. You don't want to rub it super hard, but you definitely want to get it just kind of where you want it. And I'm good with that. You just kind of want to get some gold on the background just to kind of, yeah, I think it should have, see how this one's all the way around it? I don't think I got it on here either fast enough. Let me try something else here. So I have all this extra little gold. I'm just going to rub it on there. Yeah, see, that's already dry. You could stamp it again, but I'm okay with it. I just really wanted it as a background, just to add some interest and another like layer on there. So I think we're good with this. I'll wipe it off. Now what I want to do is I'm going to set this aside for just a second. I'm going to put a bit of gold in there because I'm going to use that in a minute. And then close this up. Oh my gosh, it's just flying all over. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to go ahead and adhere our piece on there. Now, it's easier to adhere your piece onto your crumb cake layer before you put your gold on here. So this is a different way to do the gold, okay? So you can do it. This is what I'm going to do. Leave the top part on. I'm going to use glue and we're going to adhere it. Remember, this is white, or well, mine's Whisper White, but it would be basic white cardstock on the back. I used the thick. All right, and we're going to adhere this down onto the crumb cake so that we can use it add our gold on it. We're going to add our gold while it's adhered here. That way it's, because it's a pretty fragile little die. You don't want to be rubbing on it too much with the gold and the sponge to burnish it in kind of while this isn't adhered to something, because I think it's a little too fragile for that. And especially with the adhesive on there, we use the double-sided adhesive. It's a lot easier than it is when you're trying to do your heat and stick. Okay, so we're going to take this. I'm going to start over here with the A, kind of put that in the middle. Put this at your L. So just kind of lay it where you want it. Alright, so there you go. There's your word on there. Okay, I want to pull this part down just a little bit. So by doing that, just a little, I moved it, so I'm going to get that extra adhesive off, which is what I like about our Tombow adhesive. You can just clean that right up and it comes off great. Alright, so I think that is good. So I want to make sure that is adhered really well and sitting there so that it doesn't pick up the gold underneath. So just make sure it's on there really well. And I think it is. Now you're going to take a pokey tool or something. I would start at the end and just work your way across like that. Alright, now we're going to pick this up, bring our box back in, and just lay your gold. Now this is sticky everywhere, so you want to make sure you get the gold everywhere. Alright, so I'm going to have to get some more flakes. Alright, so pick them up, lay them down. And you can pick up the pieces, just move them over. You're going to use all this that's left in here, so don't worry about, putting too much in. But you really want to make sure that it gets sticky. So here's some other pieces. Just pick them up, move them over, lay them down. Pick them up. And then just keep going and pick them up and move them down. So I've got this all over here pretty well covered. So now I'm just going to kind of push off the larger pieces so that now I can pick them up and move them over here. Okay. Pick it up and put it. Okay, then come back over here. I have a lot of big pieces. I'm going to put that on the Y right there. Just keep picking up the larger pieces, and you can see the white is on top of the crumb cake, and that's where you need your gold. Okay, so that all looks like it's pretty well covered. Making sure. Okay, now I like to do this inside the box still and just kind of rub it. Okay, it's not going to stick to the crumb cake because there's no adhesive on there, right? you want to do this as carefully as you can because this will fly everywhere. So just be careful. It's totally worth using. It's $9 for this jar. I've had this since before we started selling it, and I've used a lot, and I still have so much. All right, so just keep. All right, so now I have a few places that I'm gonna make sure I get out. Okay, so now I'm going to take my tool because I have some in this little W right here. Just kind of go like that and it comes out. Same thing right here. And the A. A little bit on the Y right there. You'll find a little bit on the edges that, you know, you might have had glue that stuck there a little bit on the outsides. Just kind of rub it right off. Same right here. I might have slid it over with the glue a little bit. All right, here again. Okay, I think we got it. Okay, I am good with that. Okay, now again, remember, close this really slow. We have all of our gold done. See all this? You can wipe all of this back into that little box if you want. To me, this is really, really tiny. I'm not going to mess with it. It's like dust. You're going to get it. You have plenty left on your project or in your box and in the jar. So we're going to move that over. All right. Our image. Now there's a little piece which oh, here it is. I also included a little piece like this. This will be our sentiment. And let me just move these over, clean them up. All right, I need a long a block. I think this one will work. And I'm going to use my whole heart because I'm using always. You could have used love if you want, but in this case we're using the set. My whole heart always. No, I think I'm going to use forever and always. That's what I think I'm going to use this time. Forever and always you. So I'm changing the words up, but if they have their stamp set, or I will be bringing mine, they can use whatever one they want. And I'm going to use forever and always, and then I'm going to use you. All right, so with crumb cake, and I'm going to do it on the edge as close as I can. That'll save me time in my cutting. I'm going to do forever and, okay, and then always, and then I'm going to do you over here, you. Okay, so there's my forever and always you. I'm trying to look outside and make sure my UPS man doesn't come and ring my doorbell. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this, so I'm just going to use, you can use scissors or whatever you want. I'm going to pull this in and just kind of take it to the edge. Okay, and cut it down. Doesn't have to be perfect. And so I'm just going to change this, the words up on this, but you can do whatever you want. And now I have this strip left over. I could actually do another sentiment with those. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to tie a bow. And I've showed you guys how to do double bows before, okay? So here's the secret if you want to do it around like this. Okay? You want to make sure that this is going to go around here, and you want to make sure your bow is right about there, okay? So that's where you're going to hold your finger, okay? You can actually hold it down a little because that's going to be the middle of your bow. So I want it to be a fairly decent sized bow. So 1, 2, and then you're going to go around like I've shown many times. Go back underneath the piece that you went around. Bring it back towards you. I did it kind of tight. This is a thicker ribbon. It's okay to pull it tight. Sometimes like the sheer and other ones you really don't want to do that. Okay, so now that's going to go perfectly fine on my card. So what I did is I took, you can do a couple things. You can run seal down the side if you want, but I'm just going to take white liner, and I'm going to take it right about, okay, I'm going to put it on the line so I can kind of see where my measurements are, and I'm going to go right about, I'm going to go in one more, yeah, right about there. Okay, so that's on the front of the card. Oops. And then I'm going to cut it about here because I want it to go around on the back side of the card. Okay, so go on the back. All right, and we're going to adhere this to the vanilla piece, so we're good with that. Take that off. I would bring in your silicone mat, but you could have just undid the front part and left the back and, you know, just cut it right here and added a separate piece in the back or whatever you want. So let's see. We are going to do I need to turn my bow a little bit because I kind of got crazy with my knot and I want to make sure my flat piece is on the top. So I want the bow to go a little more towards the top. I'm going to put it right about here. Okay, you want to kind of make sure you're covering up your white liner. Okay, so there's your bow. Put that part on the back, this part on the back, and I don't need that whole piece. I'm going to cut that off. Okay, now because this piece is kind of short, I'm going to take just a little piece and I'm just going to lay that flat and put that right on top of it. Okay, so now there's our pretty bow. We don't need this anymore. But now we're going to go ahead and adhere it to our vanilla. I'm going to go ahead and just use liquid. Alright, we're going to put this on our panel. And if you guys know me, I don't typically add the panels to the front of my card until I'm done with the panel. I don't know why, if I need to adjust anything or it makes me not forget to add the ribbon and just things like that before I add the panel. Okay, so let me move my little glue pieces out of the way. All right, so here's this. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the difference. I have another kit here that I created just as an extra, and it has an image in it, and this one is with gold embossing powder. So I want to show you what the difference looks like. So this is embossing powder, okay, and then this is the gold leafing. The gold, it's really kind of hard to tell on here, but the gold leafing is just a little brighter, and it just looks, rawer is what I want to say. See how there's a solid piece there and a solid piece there? I brushed those with the sponge, and they still stayed on there nice and smooth. So it just adhered that way, and that's just the way it is, and it's just a little more mixed media-ish, and I really love it. So I just wanted to show you the difference there. Okay, so now we're going to add our dimensionals. So we want to have, where are my small ones? Here they are. All right, we're going to add large and small, so we're going to add the large ones where we can. All right. All right, now we're going to come in with our small. And if you just put that right, you can get it on there. Just make sure your flat sides are on the outside. Same here. And now I want to put a little one there, so I have a half of one right here. And I'm good with that, so that's going to be good. So we're going to take these off. It is such a pretty card. I was going to do a video with this, and then my upline, who is doing the retreat, said, no, do that at the retreat. It's so pretty. And I was like, oh, okay. So, which was nice, because that just saved me some time with coming up with an idea, because I have been so busy. Okay, so we're going to put always on there. Now, we want to make sure we have room for you, because we're using you at the bottom, always, forever and always you. There's a piece of foil sticking off there. I just want to make sure. There's a little piece of extra foil on there. You can just kind of clean it up a little bit. It's just hanging on to the sticky part, so it's a little bit of extra. And then there's a little bit where you might have moved your word over and had a little bit of glue. So I just cleaned it up a little bit. All right, so for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create myself a little strip out of my pieces here. Not super thick, but this is just a strip I'm going to use. On the U, I'm going to use this extra, I actually forgot I had some of these, so I'm going to use this and take that little tail off. So there's the U, and I forgot that I have these, so I might just use, well, I'll use this one. So we're going to use this on here, and it's just my little edges. So whatever you have, use it up. Don't waste your adhesive. Okay, so I have forever and always. So you can just kind of put this where you want it. I'm just going to tuck it under right here. Forever and always. And then you. I'm going to tuck that in right there. Forever and always you. So it's whatever you have, whatever sentiment you want. That just kind of changed it up from my whole heart. Now with my whole heart, all I did is take the piece of paper after I did the sentiment, with my bone folder, I went up on the edges, and then I went like this, and then I went back up again on the edge, and then I just kind of put that on there. So you could do that too. Now we're going to take our our rhinestones. These are the champagne ones, and I just randomly, I put 2 like that, and then I just kind of went and added some just here and there. I did 5 in this case. So there's our 5, and then now in the inside and on our card base, we're going to take this with crumb cake again. And I'm going to take the smaller flower. I'm going to do 1 on the corner, 1 just kind of coming up the side, and then 1 there. So just kind of, just 3 kind of rounding the corner. So you can say forever and always, and then you can say together, forever and always you, and then on the inside you can put love, you know, you so very much, or there's all kinds of sentiments that you can continue adding or change up or whatever you wanted to do. Now I could have added leaves to this. But I really wanted to keep it a little more of the, just the 3 colors, the vanilla, the blushing bride, and the crumb cake with some gold. So I could have added gold to that, but I'm choosing not to. And I'm just going to put that in the inside. We're going to add this to the top, and I did pop it up. So it's a little heavier in the middle, so I want to add a little bit. And there is your beautiful card. I love doing mixed media type things, and I think that the gold really helps make it just that fun element to the gold. I love this ribbon. Love, love, love. So there's a couple different ways for different sentiments that you can use. So I hope you enjoyed the card. It's super simple. So many cards look intimidating, and when you're watching videos, it's really not as intimidating as you think. I mean, once you kind of look at it and see, I have so many people in classes and stuff that say, oh my gosh, no, there's no way. And then once we get to creating and once we're doing the class, they're like, that is not as hard as I thought it was going to be. Or I didn't want that set because I thought there's no way that I could do that card. And it's really not as hard as you think it is. So I hope that helped you see that it can be super simple. It doesn't have to be perfect, which is a thing I like about mixed media, is the gold, like this one is a little more sporadic. This one has a little more solid images, and I rub them and it's not coming off, and it's just adhered better there than on some places on the other pieces of the card, and that's just how it is. It's really just to add another layer, another little bit of dimension, and I just think that, I mean, for myself, I think the always is the main focus, and everything, and the bow I love. Oops, this way, I'm backwards. And I think that just ties it all in. And the background with the image and the gold just makes it that much more interesting, because you're like, oh, what do they do here, and what's that, and then of course the pop of the rhinestones just tie it all together, I think. So I hope you enjoyed the card. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I miss you. I'm saying this because I know I'm going to miss you while I'm gone. because I won't be doing any live. So please give a thumbs up. Let me know you watched it. Make a comment below and say hi. I will be checking my messages. I will be checking my videos. And so if you need anything, let me know. And I am going to try to do a live. It might be short, but just saying hi from retreat. So I hope to see you soon. Have a great day. Bye.